Hey, James.
Oh, hi, Monty.
How's it going, man? You seem upset.
Yeah, well, it's just that it's that time of the month for another update, and I'm gonna have to do it on my own.
Why?
Well, Monty's not here, and I miss him, but the show must go on.
I'm right here. I could do it with you, man. Like, come on, let's go.
You sure? I mean, that would be great as long as Monty doesn't mind.
I'm sure he'll be fine. Yeah, you know that's me, right?
What? What? Monty, it's you! I'm so happy, I could cry.
No, don't. Just stop. Please, don't even do that. Just stop crying. Stop crying. Please, James.
I just can't help it. I'm on such an emotional roller coaster. Oh, but I
No,
suppose
please stop.
I can't help it. Well, enough of that. I guess it's time for NXT Update. Yes, hello. I am James Rhodes, and today this is WNR445. It's NXT Update, and I am not alone. I have a pleasure to be joined by Monty. How you doing, man? We got away with that skit.
Somehow, some way, I did not laugh. I tried I was holding the laugh back through every line. By the way, I tried my best. Go back into my improv days, which I have no official experience in, but
Well, no,
this is great.
You did great. And one of my favourite moments on the podcast 8-Year History is when we did the Samoa Joe William Regal promo from
The promo. Yeah.
Seems to remember.
Yeah.
Like I said, you are back on the show. See, everybody listening, I promised Monty would be back from his sabbatical because he's American.
Yeah.
But you
Right.
You,
Good point.
yeah. See, hands across the nation. But you did miss your 2-year anniversary, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's just like me, by the way.
I was. Do you know? I wasn't upset as Jaxie and Gina were, but I was pretty upset. So I've got to do the same thing to you as basically I did to them. And again, with you not being there, it was me just being creepy towards the two girls for like an hour. But I'm hoping this sounds a little bit better because I just want to kind of put it out there. Obviously, Monty, and like, where do we start, man? You know, everybody knows on the show about Dan, and after him, I didn't think I could meet someone show with who would enjoy it as much as I did. You know, there's actually a quote from Shawn Michaels saying when he got in the ring with Kurt Angle, he'd have to up his game. And do you know what? I actually feel the same way with you. That you watch more wrestling hour upon hour than me is not only annoying but mind blowing. I'm not gonna lie. And NXT Update is our baby, and I'm thrilled it's continued, even if we have killed the original NXT 2.0 and NXT UK, you know. But we've been through a lot. And honestly, just on a personal level, you, man, like, you can achieve anything you want. You kind of bring this level of chill, cool, calmness with you and knowledge, which, again, is not showing off. You've just got that in your back pocket just in case anybody's asking about it, which is the best way, I think, to be. So, like I said, Monty, it's been 2 years. I have got a little treat for you on the Halloween show, which, of course, will be next week, but I'll wait then.
It's not a trick. It's a treat.
Well, I put Jaxie and Gina through it, and I'm going to do it because they hated it. So I'm going to do it for you as well, man. But like I said, thank you for joining me. These 2 years have flown by, and I feel like we have covered more news, even in the past year, than we did in the first 6, if you know what I
mean. Yeah, no, definitely. Definitely. It never ends either. Like, we're not quite out of this year yet, so I'm waiting. It's quieting down a little bit on the news front, but, you know, it's always something when it comes to wrestling right now. But, man, yeah, you're right. The time is really flying by, and I appreciate it. Those are really kind words, and you don't understand. This is an honor. I love podcasting. I love wrestling, so I'm bringing two things that I really enjoy, and I put them together. So I just kind of come here, have fun, let loose, and wrestling is an outlet for me. It allows me to just relax and just have fun. And I think talking about it with you guys is a similar. I put it in the same vein. It's just something I can just sit back, relax, and just enjoy. And I don't take it too seriously, but I really do love doing it. I have a passion for this that I really enjoy doing this. So I'm just happy that you gave me a platform to be able to express myself. And it just so happens that now we've done it 2 years. I'm mad that I did not be able to say this on my official anniversary, but yes, this is a complete honor, and thanks again. But yeah, man, like they say, the show goes on, and I'm excited. Like you said, we killed off pretty much 3 eras of NXT, but from the ashes, rise this, I don't know if it's a rebrand or like a reboot. Like, what do you determine this NXT? But it's still NXT, so we're still here somehow. We're surviving. We're like Impact.
This is the thing, but again, talking about people's impact, even on the podcast, where people can say, well, obviously, James, I've been there since kind of day one, but even with your involvement from where the pod was, from what we'll be doing with just like AEW and NXT, WWE, and then you having that knowledge and me trying to learn and branch out to New Japan and then introducing Gina and Jaxie into it. And even, like I said, going to see it live, we wouldn't have done that if you wouldn't have never joined the show. So it's kind of, it's weird how even the podcast, like I said, we're following New Japan now. We've got Declaration of Power coming up. We know Wrestle Kingdom in January. And the previous January, we were all fucking clueless. So, it's
that's a good point. Yeah.
So, but like I said,
it'd be funny to see the progress now, because I had to set up a lot of. So I had to tell everything, not just the stores, like who these guys were. Now you guys have an idea, So yeah, it's gonna be fun. I can't wait. And yeah, that's a great point. The evolution of the show already in general. I'm so proud of you. You understand? Watching the photos, you guys getting pictures with the guys from New Japan and all that. Man, I was proud, like a proud father, I guess, as we could say. Spoiler alert. Anyway, no, just playing.
Like we said, it's a shame you're not over this side. But then again, it's really weird because I was watching, and I'm going to name drop Richard Osman House of Games on the show, because people watching that don't have any idea. It's just this tea time show, but they ask, there's a round called Where is Kazakhstan? And the question was, it's a map of America, is where was the musical streetcar named Desire based? And I said, well, it's weird, because I was watching it with my dad, and I said, well, that's Texas to it, is Louisiana, and that's where Monty is, And the answer was Louisiana, and I thought, how weird is that? That even, you being in America and seeing it there, it's kind of broadened my knowledge of it as well. So, like I said, we appreciate everything you've brought to the show and what you've kind of added to it as well.
Yeah, man, no problem. I'm just gonna try to keep doing my thing, and I don't know, man. It's I never really thought about this. Like, I'm from a small town, really, in Louisiana. So to be branching out and to even be talking to someone that's from far, like, this is unfathomable. I didn't even have internet when I was growing up until like I was in middle school. So like I'm in a weird age range where I'm like, now to see how far you could just go by just getting in front of a microphone and just, talking about something you care about. It's crazy to me. So, like I said, this is always an honor.
No, without a shadow of a doubt. Well, we're going to get on with it. Don't worry, everybody listening. Go, fucking hell. Come on. I'm saying it's the update, but we have got...
It's a little fish.
Yeah, exactly. I'll get a room. It's the same. But there is 5 episodes of NXT to catch up on. But first and foremost, we're looking at the latest on the WWE Network. And we had no Broken Skull sessions recently. The last one was Charlotte. I guess she even fucked that up, We'll blame that.
We're on a nice run there.
Yeah. So we have got Table for Free, and it had the Steiners, and of course, Table for Free, there's a 33.3% chance that one of these guys was not going to say something right, but they should have given this an hour. I wouldn't mind it, filmed on Hall of Fame weekend. And I've got to tell you, for Rick and Scott, they do look well, Monty, I think it'd be fair to say, considering the careers they've had and what they've probably taken.
That's a good point, man. Yeah, and they've done it for so long, since the mid '80s, or pretty much, I think so. Yeah, when you think about how well they look, Scott, and then Scott not too long before this Hall of Fame thing, I heard about him having a health scare years ago, so he looks great by comparison to what was going on. So, and then Rick, as Rich is a really great point, he looks almost exactly the same. He's just silver now with the goatee and all of that. So, it happens, but yeah, they look awesome, and this was just a great thing because, like, I don't know if you know, but if you've been a fan of WWE for a while, I probably never thought we'd see the Steiners back just in the fold. So to just see them being able to just sit there and talk and then see them with them, especially with Braun, and listening to them kind of give advice, but also give them a hard time too. I really enjoyed watching this though.
Yeah, I'm going to say a weird thing, but Braun looks so much like Rick. It is scary. Mm-hmm. I know it's his son, but it's like really weird. They start talking about bad food in Korea while setting an attendance record. That's not as important as the bad food. Rick talking, teaching Braun about the Japanese crowd. You would have thought he would have had a conversation with his son about this before Table for Free, but it was like Braun was learning for the first time. For any Steiner fan, as you mentioned, people are Steiners as well, this is a must watch because Rick still remembers and obviously talks about Mid-South and meeting Sting and getting the contract offer for $50,000 and thinking it's been bought. Turner buying WWE's. And another interesting thing I think I didn't know was Macho travelling with Scott Steiner and the story about them calling cows, which I knew Macho did. I never knew he did it with Scott, and I never knew it was an ability for Macho Man to attract cows. But you learn something new, I suppose.
Yeah, I want to say he told a similar story in his Hall of Fame speech, but it's definitely a great story, and like he said, he just like he always says, he swear Macho Man knew the cows. What a great setup and joke. I love it. I don't, like I said, honestly, Macho Man was such a character. I wouldn't put it past them in this situation. Like that's always the great thing about this, and even Broken Skull. Those stories of just being on the road and those experiences you never get a chance to see. It's just, man, that's priceless stuff, like you mentioned. And then also they went into a lot of not a lot of great detail, but they talked about and showed highlights of a lot of the things that, like, how innovative the Steiner brothers were for their time. So, they were always bringing, and they insisted on it. Rick said that they wanted to always do something that other people weren't doing. So that explains why you can see those huge guys doing things that they probably didn't have to do, like the Steiner and that big bulldog from the top. But still, it was just great to get that insight from them.
Yeah, about that, even talking about NXT and developmental and about what Braun goes through, and Braun talking about kind of, American football maybe being the thing he wanted, and Rick saying how good Japan is, and you'll wrestle there one day. Oh no, you probably won't now, kid, will you? Because it's definitely been since then, but it doesn't matter. And I think what we took away from it is Rick Steiner, father, as a man, saying friends and memories are the most important thing. And Scott Steiner saying the most important thing is Braun to stop nicking all of his stuff because he's really pissed off about it.
Oh, yeah, that was hilarious. Like, taking his stuff, I think even Rick mentioned that he's taking his gear, his boots and stuff. And, Braun claiming that he created the Frankensteiner. And if you're a Steiner fan like me, Scott Steiner will always argue no one created the Frankenstein other than Scott. And the face plant too.
Yeah.
Man, that really
Oh.
cracked me up because it proved that they watch also because they just pulled that from memory. So it's nice to see that they're watching Braun like we are. So to make fun of him for that botch was priceless.
Well, that just shows you how well they kind of get on as well in between with
Yes.
Ron talking about how much time he spent with Scott. And another interesting thing I thought as well was when Rick and Scott were talking about who they could learn from and saying Ziggler was probably the guy he could learn from the most, which is a huge compliment coming
Yeah.
from the Steiners and even Bobby Roode, even
Bobby
though
Roode.
Scott's saying he's Canadian.
What a Scott thing to say.
I know. It's just. But again, anybody that hasn't seen this, it's 23 minutes, and it's brilliant because this should be a documentary. You could follow the around all week and get gold. But for the stories they tell, and again, like I said, even if they were to make a full-on, I don't know if they've done it or not, like a Steiner documentary, just whilst Rick can, no offense, but remember these stories. Talk about Mid-South and the NWA days, against these legendary tag teams.
Yeah, I agree. And then also you got, we may not like talking about it because it's kind of a buzzkill thing to bring up, but in this business, a lot of our greats don't get to, like you said, to stay in the shape to even recall a lot of this or actually still be here to talk about it. So while they're here, get all the stories that you can get and, try to record it, get all of it on film as you can because you got to give them their flowers and, celebrate them and get a lot of that out into the world while they're here. I'm not trying to be the buzzkill here, but I'm serious. Like, it really is important, especially in this business with so many of our greats that we lose all the time.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. And I don't want to leave it on such a down note, but
you're right. Yeah,
but it was
because it's such a great show. It has nothing. Right. You don't want to think about it morbidly. I'm sorry. I'm such a buzzkill.
but
I tried.
But like I said, and talking about the next Table 3, which we'll cover next month, has just dropped his New Generation Gathering, which is going to be Jerry the King Lawler, Bret Hart, and Isaac Yankem. Oh, no, wait, Kane. But we are going to have an in-depth look at the worst year in WWF history, maybe, which is going to be great. So, that'll be fun. But
I am interested in the Bret and Lawler story, though. Interested, I guess.
Well, like I said, Table 3 does its job, and sometimes there's been a couple this season that have worked really well and a couple that maybe haven't. Again, at least we're getting content. The network just doesn't seem to be getting, and it's even like the Icon series. We've still got like 3 more of them to come at some point, and I don't even know kind of where they are. And apart from other obviously like Progress stuff or ICW, which is available, there's not a lot there, and it just shows you that kind of WWE are relying on the special events and obviously the events they call them, like Halloween Havoc, which of course, as people listen to this, is tonight, which is really weird that kind of Havoc or NXT Premium Live events have been treated differently as such, because this could quite easily, I don't know, could this quite easily be a normal episode of NXT?
In some ways, yeah. I can understand. I think the ladder match maybe, and like just the sheer amount of matches on the card. But if you remember, like this, you could say that about the Halloween Havoc card from like 2020 that they actually did show on television. If you see what I'm trying to say. And like it wasn't really a live special, so I definitely can understand what you're saying. This could be just a special episode of regular NXT at this point. The card quality, but I do think they definitely wanted to feel takeover-ish though, because a lot of these matches are like feuds that needs to blow off, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we're going to get into that. We're going to run through card give predictions at the end, but we have got 5 NXT to catch up on. So we start with September 20th, and this is how far back we're going, Monty. The show started with Shawn Michaels stripping Solo Sikoa of the
Solo,
North American
right?
Championship. Yeah, Solo is still our champ as we speak. HBK stripped him of it. He's not a sanctioned challenger. He told Melo he'd face 4 men match at Halloween Havoc. We did have the best of 3 series. Axiom versus Nathan Fraser. Nathan did make his daddy proud and win the match to draw 1-1 with the Phoenix Splash. NXT UK alive and well, Monty. We questioned it just a couple of months ago, and it was bollocks.
I agree, and also I must point out that they are doing the right thing by Axiom in this sense that they're focusing on letting A Kid just wrestle. If you see what I'm trying to say, I love the thought process of getting both these guys in the ring and just letting them do what they do best. And you can just see as this series has continued on, they gained the crowd in Florida's respect as these matches continued. And I think that's a great way to help Axiom, even with the character we may not be so sure about and all that. Because I think me and you both know A-Kid is also, as he sees continuing to show in the ring, he's great. He's probably just I think that's what they've probably shown so far in this feud. Even though Frazier got the definitive victory in this one, they're still very, very close as far as in status and what they're bringing to the table in the ring. And but this was a great second chapter in the best of 3 series.
Yeah, without a doubt. Toxic Attraction defeated Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley. I was a bit surprised Ivy was pinned because if you look at where she was on the card maybe 6 months ago or so, it seems like Diamond Mine moved on and she's kind of pushed back. But I've not noticed she's being worse than others around her,
Yeah. I think that the thing here, I think they wanted to kind of show that Diamond Mine was, I think more of the story they're trying to go with was Diamond Mine. Her focus wasn't there. No, before the match, they were trying to make it seem like Paxley was wanted to get her to focus here. So I think that it played more into that story than more into that than it says anything about what Ivy is. But I do agree. It seemed like they were on a roll of giving her a bigger role. But honestly, I think part of this is also just fleshing out the tag division right now, and I think this served that purpose also, right? Just for the time being, anyway.
Yeah, we get the Schism told Cameron Grimes that he made a life-altering mistake by refusing to listen to Joe Gacy. Idris Sanofi and Malik Blaze stormed the ring while it looked good. The Dyer put away the rivals with a ticket to Mayhem. Grimes had promised this ends next week. It won't. Cora Jade beat Wendy Chu. Damon Kemp explained the rest of his plan to take down Diamond Mine, taking Tony D'Angelo's money and injuring Roderick Strong to silence him. Who would have thought, Monty, an actual heel makes sense with the plan and it comes through? Wow, I understand why you did it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So far, it's how do you, man, it's just so logical. Everything's making sense. I'm not used to it.
Exactly, yeah. Stop this shit. No, there's no reason. You just keep it as a secret or whatever it is. We get Perez and Miko Satomura talk about their match and growing respect. Perez promised to bring the same fight to her next match with Jade. Carmella Hayes and Trick Williams lost to Andre and Booty Hayward. Hayes was pinned, but of course it's Monty's fault, isn't it? We know why.
How is it my fault?
You said Andre Chase, and how the hell can Hayes lose this matchup? I just don't understand it. So I'm blaming
you. Overconfident. That's all I got for you. He's too, he's big-headed sometimes. That's what happens. It's fine. It'll just roll up.
I want to see Drew Gulak join Chase U and do the mirror trick with Andre Chase at some point.
With Andre,
yeah, we need that.
I can see it.
And I tell you what, Booty Hayward basing himself off Lex Luger is actually a great idea, and I'm not kidding, because that man, Lex Luger, even though this might be a terrible wrestler, people say that torture rack was over his shit back in the days, So it does, and also it does look like it could be his son. I wouldn't be surprised if we find out it is, and he teams with Bron Baker or Sting gets the son. Get Sting, get the son, and then come along as well. We sort that out. Von fucking Wagner beat Sanga. I really like Sanger's character, but if rumors is
Yeah.
true, he's fucked. We now get the former Olivia Carter, now Aura Mensah. He qualified for the North American title ladder match, beating Grayson Waller, who was distracted by Apollo Crews and his bleeding eye.
Bleeding eye.
If
yeah.
I had £1 for every time that has happened in a match, it's like, what could we do?
It's another moment coming later, I think, when Waller is wrestling, but Waller has to do something about this finish.
It's just like...
This is the one side. He has to go all the way outside of the ring to do it. And every time he does that, so, lately, it's been trouble.
I didn't even think of it. It's an excellent... But, like, there, learn from your mistake. Just hit a cutter. That's all you need, Just job done.
Yes.
Well, talking about fucking idiots, Wes Lee told everyone he refused a free spot and will qualify for a ladder match only after beating Tony D. What a dickhead! Do you know, who would do that?
I think he was trying to give off I earned my opportunities. But no, it doesn't change a thing, baby. Like Zack Sabre Jr. always said, professional wrestler, your average professional wrestler, isn't a freaking idiot. And this is a great example of what Zack Sabre Jr. means. Baby faces are usually very, very stupid, prideful, or whatever, resilient, whatever adjective you can think of, that's fine. But they are also idiots.
Oh my word! Well, the main event, number one contender for the NXT title, Tyler Bate versus JD. Well, Jordan Devlin, basically. Tyler Bate tried to stop it and hit a top rope Tyler driver, but instead took a top rope Spanish fly into the Devlin side, sealing the win for the Irish Ace. But the show ended with a shocking return as former NXT UK champ Ilya Dragunov headed to the ring and stared down both men. Fantastic stuff. To start with Kid v Fraser and then on Bate v Devlin shows how strong NXT UK was.
NXT UK.
And obviously the arrival of Ilya signals a real threat. No offence to Bate and JD, but Ilya is a real threat to Bron Breakker. The only matches as well on this episode non-UK were the women's.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, I noticed, and again, I'm so thankful. Now I imagine if I told you no when you wanted to do NXT UK together, how lost I would be. Like, who the hell is this Axiom guy?
I don't know. It comes around. What you give with New Japan, I gave a little bit of NXT UK just so we're prepared. To be fair, I didn't think it was going to be the whole fucking show. I just thought, maybe.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So an hour, it's literally an extra, the extra hour of NXT UK is now on NXT. So I'm alright with that. September 27th, Ilya Dragunov made clear his focus was to dethrone Bron Breakker, just like he did Volta. JD interrupted, and he put over his history with Dragunov, including taking credit for forcing him to vacate his title through injury. Liar!
That was Wolf game.
Yeah. See? Yeah. See? Thank you very much, Monty. JD, you're full of shit. Finally, Breakker pulled out the Steiner math to set up the triple threat, which got a good pop from the crowd. I mean, fair play for Bron to do that.
Yeah. It was great timing, man. Great timing. Perfect. He said it with the right cadence too, because he does this often. That's why I actually agree with Scott. He may just be taking his stuff because he sounds like him when he said that. He just sounds. He does that from time to time where he sounds just like Scott to me. So yeah, that was great though. It was great.
It was good stuff. And Mandy Rose beat Fallon Henley. Ladder match qualifier Wesley versus Tony D. Back and forth contest. Wesley tripped Tony D, went face first in the turnbuckle, and the impact left the Don 2 days to continue, causing a referee stoppage. You know things are bad when they call it there. Again, Tony D, love him or hate him, I don't think he deserved this. It is a shame because, like I said, this story was going somewhere.
Yeah, it seemed like it had a payoff, and an injury like this, especially since I find out later it's like a PCL situation. So, it's tough. And when you look at the spot, also, he was running and he kind of hyper extended the right leg before the knee hit the mat or whatever, and you can't really see it, but like that slight hyperextension is probably what took the PCL out, and it's a freak type of thing because it wasn't anything like unsafe about it. It's just like wasn't like a leg sweep or like not even a Russian leg sweep, but it's like a drop toe hold, I guess is what they call it. So yeah, it wasn't even anything that was too insane. So it's one of those freak type accident injury. So I just wish him the best going forward. And like you said, yeah, love him or hate the Dawn of NXT character or whatever he has going on. It does suck because again they seem to be building to some type of payoff here with his latest antics in NXT.
Yeah, and it's just a shame as well because he Dragunov opened up doors with his head, but Tony D with drop toe hold and he busted his knee. It just shows you how crazy wrestling, such, like you said, a simple move can cause so much trouble. Speaking of simple moves, Sol Rucker beat Amira Miller in the shits. If you look up a picture of shits in the dictionary,
what was that finisher? Like she just kind of flipped and dropped her ass on her. It was
some
weird.
people tried to call it a standing somersault double leg drop. But those are bastards.
Okay. So it's a leg drop.
That's bollocks. It's not. It was fucking horrible. Like, stop it. Stop it with NXT now. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What was billed as the end was just Joe Gacy pinning Cameron Grimes thanks to the dyad. This is what we need. The storyline continuing. Nikita Lyons, stop it, you perverts. Beat Caden Carter. Zion Quinn lost to Ilya Dragunov. You know it's bad when Ilya can't get a good match from him. And the Damon Kemp versus Brutus Keed. Well, Damon enjoyed causing Brutus to feel pain but lost control after Brutus threw him outside. Damon Kemp smacked Brutus repeatedly with a steel chair, getting himself disqualified. I don't know what we could expect from this. Again, it makes sense storyline, but when you watch a match, you think this is either going to be the worst pile of crap ever, or it's going to they're going to fluke it. Not saying match of the year, but who knows what could happen. And then the main event, Pub Rules, Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen versus Gallus. When they first announced this, I thought they announced 3-on-2. And I thought, is that how little you care about Gallus? But it wasn't. But somehow Briggs and Jensen won. Gallus has been suspended now as well. It was an awful episode of NXT. It was an awful one. It was pre-taped, and hopefully with the new NXT, we get something new the following week. But I didn't hold up hope because October 4th we had Sudu Shah, Byron Saxton, and I thought, oh fucking hell, what have we got here? Wade Barrett, the black and gold back. But the set didn't look much different. I'm not going to lie. It didn't.
No, it didn't change at all, actually. No. Honestly, I think they just changed the lighting for the most part and the ring post, I think. Yeah.
Well, it's different because this room is completely different to where it was when I used to do it with Dan. The NXT update. I even changed the room and the light setting. At this moment, it's all black and gold in here. So obviously people can't see it, but trust me, new lights and everything. Nice. Yeah. When the NXT champions Pretty Deadly arrive, yes, boy, side plate check, and Lord Elton and Lord Kit, and they're dressed as such. And the Brawling Brutes shockingly arrived and said they want to fight Pretty Deadly due to their comments on social media. But Prince and Wilson blamed all the Kevins, Kevin Nash, Kevin Patrick, and Kevin Owens for hacking their account. Great to see the Brawling Brutes and Pretty Deadly. Yes, some of the segment didn't work, but it would have died with anybody else.
Yes, they saved it. I do. They obviously we know again how great they can be if you just let them give them some time and let them be themselves. Pretty Deadly because these characters, man, they have it down to a T. But I must say, I wanted to ask you how do you feel when they for some reason we have this thing where I guess just because they're from England, we have to do the white wig and the Commonwealth talk and all. What is Like I'm saying, like how do you guys feel over there because like it happens often actually over the years for some reason that we feel like that's the way we have to depict you guys.
I
But
feel
does that matter or is it I was curious.
I feel every American thinks of us like that. With the wigs,
Right.
and they think and going, bloody hell, we've just lost America. We're still annoyed.
Like you haven't did anything in 300
exactly,
whatever.
Like,
Yeah.
God, those boys really did a number on us. Which again we don't really mind. Like we cannot at this moment in time, and I don't like talking about news and politics. We cannot have control of another company, another country, whilst our country is the biggest fucking joke going. Just like how to destroy a country in 5 easy steps, and so I don't mind. I know what the Americans like, and I picture an American much like Pretty Deadly dressed up with the painting on your bare chest, the beer hat, and the USA. So it's the same, Like...
I hate that because of Briggs and that's exactly like that's the reason why I don't too much care for Jensen and Briggs because I'm from Southern America and it is those people exist. Trust me, they're not inaccurate. It's just like damn it, like all of us who were born here are not like that.
This is weird,
but here we are on American television.
When we meet up and you'll go, why are you not wearing your wig? And I'll go, why are you not got your beer hat? Like it's
right, flannel and double fisting beers or whatever.
Shooting saying, come on, get your gun out.
Yeah, guns hanging out. Yeah,
that's what happens. I've got a cup of tea. Anyway, Lise Carmella Hayes came back to winning ways, beating Aura Mensah. NXT ladder match qualifier, Von fucking Wagner beat Andre Chase. Why have Chase beat Hayes then? Why have that happen?
Yeah, that's the thing I hated. That's what I hated. I'm like, okay, he's going to beat Wagner, right? No. He pinned come on. Anyway, just keep going.
It just does me. Sanger told Nathan Fraser he hoped he won the ladder match on October 22nd. Veer Mahan walked up to Sanger, seemingly indicating the two could be team again. I think Sanger's interested in Nathan. Thank you very much, Veer. Wendy Chu beat Lash Legend. Enough of that. Ilya Dragunov talked about the agony of vacating his NXT UK Championship and promised to make up for not being the man who defended the NXT UK at Worlds Collide. Now, Monty, let's just discuss this quickly because we talked about a lot of rumours. I generally don't believe he was injured. And I think No, seriously, I think they vacated the title from him. Let Tyler Bate do it for Tyler Bate be the first and last champ, and then save Leah as a bigger threat down the line. Am I just smoking the wrong stuff?
No, honestly, I'm not going to argue with that. It does feel like with the quickness of his return, because if he was going to be like, for example, if you remember when he gave the speech to give up the belt after he lost it, we had seen that Ilya could miss 4 or 5 weeks at a time with NXT UK and still be the champion. So for him to still be back and not that much time since then, it does give you that thought, like, maybe they just, didn't want him to have to eat the pin from Braun so soon or whatever, because they didn't want the NXT UK champion to end up winning the, once they did the last World Collides or whatever. So it actually makes a lot of sense the more you think about it. Honestly, I honestly would not, I don't disagree with your assertion that he may have not been injured and they just wanted to, maybe he was injured kayfabe-wise, but he may not have been injured to where he couldn't have competed at Worlds Collide himself. But I do love the angle of the video package, kind of showing him watching Worlds Collide in his basic room or whatever generic room he was in. I was like, what the hell they have Ilya at watching this pay-per-view? That can't be where he lives.
Me and he had a very similar viewing experience of Worlds Collide.
Yeah,
the pain and the hatred. So
he was turning red. I'm like, Braun is just getting in the ring, Ilya. Calm down.
Oh God. We'll move on. Number one contendership, Toxic Attraction, lost to Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark. And then we see the Grayson Waller effect. Quickly got out of hand as Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade could not stop arguing. Apollo Crews appeared to pull Waller under the ring and caused his eyes to bleed. While security barely kept Perez and Jade apart. If I'm security, I'm going, fuck Perez and Jade. That cunt's got his eyes bleeding like that. He needs medical attention. He needs saying.
You know, I got a couple things. One, I have no clue why Waller's pants and stuff were also ripped. Like, wow. What the hell did he do to him after that?
He's bleeding from 3 places.
No wonder he's trying to get away so fast.
It's all of his eyes. It's all...
And then second of all, Cora Jade and Roxanne is like both. I promise you, they'd have to both be around 120. So to watch 8 guys struggle to stop them, oh, that's always entertaining to me. Roxy's like 5 feet even, pushing these big guys around. I love it.
It's where real life physics come into it. You think, yeah, actually, no, they wouldn't. But we did get the match set for Havoc as a weapons wild match. Wow, that's exciting.
Street fight, basically, right?
Anything goes. No DQ. Julius Creed made quick work of Duke Hudson after a low-running lariat. Afterwards, an injured Brutus Creed beat down Hudson. Damon Kemp appeared and challenged Julius to a match at Halloween Havoc. I know it's not on this episode or whenever it is. I do love angry Brutus Creed wandering in the background. He is the best. God damn it!
Just steaming. Like, oh god, oh man, he's like, he remind me like the old cartoon. I used to watch Looney Tunes, the Bulldogs, or I watched Tom and Jerry and be the Bulldog outside. That's what he looked like. But yeah, no. What I wanted to say also about this is that it's just hilarious to hear, and Barrett is gonna be gone soon, but from NXT here. But it's very hilarious to hear that not 2 minutes after Barrett said Duke Hudson has buns of steel, he was already pinned and beat. I have no clue why Barrett wanted to highlight that. But yeah, Duke Hudson, all they have to tell us about you is that, buns of steel, that says a lot about your standing, and he lost in like 3 minutes. So
unfortunately, no, I think you're bang on. I think Duke Hudson's only fan has left NXT now.
Right?
He was the one comparing him to himself. Like, no one else was.
No one else said that.
It was him. Again, it's Bade's son. We're going to find out that all just like... He's like, that's my boy. Was the SI Quinn beat former security guard Hank Walker. Well, that pushes over them. Masked Man tried to pass out buttons for the schism, but struggled, leaving Joe disappointed. Grimes tried to make the man feel better. But of course, it was a trap. The schism attacked Grimes backstage and invited the man to join Schism. I said Schism too much there, and I don't care about it. I really don't.
No.
Nothing.
Nope. The only thing interested in me is maybe who's under the hoodie, but really, no, don't really care either.
Exactly.
We'll see.
It'll be Tyler Bate called Burt Cruncherman, or just like that. It'll be stupid. The main event, though, and an all-British main event, shall I say. Brawling Brutes, of course, let's not forget. Pete Dunne, and of course, don't tell me I forgot his name. Because I know who it is, don't get me wrong. Against Pretty Deadly, against the Brawling Brutes.
Rich Holland?
Of course it's Rich Holland. I won't forget Rich Holland's name. Monty, do you really think I would forget Rich Holland's name? How dare you, sir? Well, anyway, the Brawling Brutes were too dangerous for Pretty Deadly to overcome until Imperium hit the ring. Distraction allowed Eaton Prince and Kit Wilson to win with spilt milk on Ridge Holland. But to be fair, this was a good match and pretty deadly. We talked about the angle earlier, but in this match they showed that they belong. I had visions of main roster.
Yeah, man, they fit right in. And also, to make this even more NXT UK Imperium made an appearance. So, yeah, man, NXT UK, bro, just taking over this new era. Post 2.0, they don't want to say it, but that's really what 2.0 is. The era after 2.0, NXT UK 2.0.
Yeah,
That's what we have going on right now.
It really, really is. But like I said, a great main event as we head into
October. Fantastic stuff.
October the 11th, with Vic Joseph introduces his new partner, Booker T. Now, I love Booker T as much as the next man, but someone lowered his chair because I think even on the last episode, it just... did you accidentally press the pedal and just go down? Like, I don't know what happened, but Booker T, Vic Joseph, I mean, that's got to work, hasn't it? I mean, we've had Vic Joseph, Wade Barrett, and Beth Phoenix, and then obviously into Wade. Nigel now, we know the news. So Booker T's got to be best of the rest. At least it's not Byron Saxton.
Yeah. I think that's pretty safe right there, Booker T has always been someone I enjoyed, or at least chuckled at some of the things he says. He's always been entertaining. So I have no problem with it. I did, and I definitely, even though I love the new position, and kind of like I don't know if they count it as a promotion, but I guess it feels like one because he's next to Michael Cole now, like on SmackDown. So I love that for Barry. But man, did him and Vic just have a chemistry? And I was waiting to see it in these last few episodes, like how it can Booker and Vic play off each other. And so far, I honestly have to admit they seem to be doing pretty well. It makes me have a new appreciation for Vic, that it wasn't just like a good relationship with Barrett that made him do well here. And so I love it. Right now, they seem to be doing pretty well. We have to keep our eyes on it as these weeks go by. But I have no problem with Booker T here in this position. And also, he has a school, so him being there with some of the green talent, him being down there and probably closer to some of those people also can't be anything but a positive, him being around. So I don't have a problem with that either.
Yeah, just don't ask him to pay attention to the action sometime. That's my favourite thing about Booker with Vic. What are you asking me that for? I'm not what? It's great. No, I do. And the thing he said as well, and I know we talked about the last episode of it, but talked about the Nasty Boys, trying to get them to the Hall of Fame as well. I know it doesn't mean a lot to anybody, but those matches that those two teams, Harlem Heat and Nasty Boys, had in WCW around 1995 as well, kind of put Harlem Heat on the map, arguably. So again, really, really nice stuff. Bron Breakker beat Big Body Harvey in quick time. I'm not sure if I like Big Body Harvey. I feel like I should because of the kind of gimmicks, I'm like with that. But didn't do much for me here. Afterwards, dragging off a ride, McDonald headbutted Desire, which we both know is a finisher, and then sent him into Breaker. Again, same old stuff to begin with, but in the final act of their best of 3 series, Axiom and Nathan Fraser went move for move. They traded super kicks, but the superhero caught his rival with a knee strike to the face. Axiom went for his finisher, but Fraser stacked him up for a surprise 3 and qualified for the North American ladder match. Can we get a best of 7? That's what I'm wondering.
Right. Yeah, man. Do it. Come on, man. They need to find a way to just run it back again. Like, man, they just went 100 miles per hour for the last one. And just like you said, ran through everything smooth. What I like the most, too, they work at a fast pace, but it wasn't a lot of slipping or, sloppiness. Like, usually when you see someone work at that pace, to see both guys, you either have one guy who's going to work at a fast pace and a guy who's gonna slip down and and make it more technical based. But they, even with Axiom using submission and technical wrestling, they found a way to still be absolutely like just breaking it, like going at a breakneck speed and just pulling out cool move after cool move. So I loved it. And then also again proving, like my point earlier, that they are this close to each other, dead even, this finish was not as definitive as the first two falls. This one was, like you said, Frazier just kind of out wrestling him there at the end. So I just loved everything about this series. Played out perfectly, and I think both guys should have at least a new measure of respect in the fans' eyes after showing what they could do in this format. And like I said earlier, I think that benefits them both right now.
Yeah, I would have loved it if they'd have said, "Look, you both qualify and Von fucking Wagner's
Yeah,
out of
that's
the
true.
match." You know, like that's how good
That
you
would have
two
made it
guys
even
are.
better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I said, loved this. Indy Hartwell beat Valentina Feroz. The match was overshadowed by the booking around it, with Sanger was watching and was convinced to leave by Veer Mahan before Pretty Deadly interrupted Hartwell's celebration just to talk about the match to come. I mean, yes, boy, but still not nice when it comes to the women. Number one contender Briggs Jensen versus Nothing Blade versus the Dyad. Like I said, Pretty Deadly dressed as Americans. Because you don't pronounce the A, you see. That's how you say properly. American. Right. See, I know what we're doing. Mallet Blade and Idris started rolling. Joe Gacy got involved. Cameron Grimes took him out, allowing Blade to steal a free count. This was fun. And we've spoken about Enofi and Blade having sank about him for a little while now.
Yeah. Like I said, I think we saw the potential, months ago, honestly. Even when they were losing in quick succession, I thought they flashed that they had, like you said, this potential to be one of the best teams, especially with the mixture of speed and high flying that they have. And they just work so well together, I thought. So I think they're only getting better with the longer that we're being allowed to see them now, and them picking up this big victory, man. It was great to see because they're one of the only teams who hasn't really had a chance, right, out of the teams that are contenders to be in that spot. So them versus a Pretty Deadly makes sense to me. And what I do want to give credit to what's been going on so far in these battle episodes is that, because I think, you talked about this on not only during 2.0, but even during some of the Black and Gold era, that the tag division, by comparison to years past in NXT, was really lacking, or really was kind of just top heavy. Well, now it seems like they're trying to do their best, even if you don't like all the teams. They're trying to build multiple teams up, like you said, with the former Grizzled Young Vets and what they already have going on with Pretty Deadly. You have Gallus there as a threat for tag titles.
You're trying to not mention Briggs and Jensen. I know. I know. My reaction to him. I can hear you. I know.
Oh man, yes. I tried my best, but yeah, they're there also. Chase U. I was gonna go to Chase U before I mentioned them.
It's true. It is true, like what you say. There is a lot of tag teams around in the parking lot. The Dyad warned Grimes he had made a mistake and challenged him to a 3-on-1 handicap match to pay for his sins. Grimes told Mitchell McKenzie, that is, he would help him for two men outside of NXT. We then had Alba Fire versus Jaxie Jane, and Gigi Jolin tried to keep Jace Jane in the match, but Alba Fire still put the latter away with a gory bomb. Sonya Deville appeared in the crowd and attacked Fire, helping Toxic Attraction powerbomber through the announce table. It's nice to see Deville in a more comfortable setting. It's always nice to see the Shield powerbomb as well. But again, it adds another layer to Toxic Attraction because we know the relationship between Rose and Deville.
Yeah, it's just, again, another logical, just smart decision, especially since I do think the Toxic Attraction formula needed a little bit of freshness there. I think this is also one of those things that if it is a long-term thing for Sonya, it's not just for, this moment, and she's going to stick around for a little while alongside Toxic Attraction. I think it's great for her because, again, like you said, we all know the relationship. It makes just the most sense. They're both heels. And honestly, even with the whole storyline they had, they've never hidden that they were still best friends. So everything about it was logical and makes sense to me. And I think it can be beneficial for Toxic Attraction and Sonya.
Yeah, I think without a shadow of a doubt. Again, booking makes sense in NXT. We then see Wes Lee beat Shannon, Stacks, Lorenzo afterwards. Williams and Hayes attacked Lee, but Oromensa made a save and helped Lee run them off. One of the most unluckiest men in NXT, Roderick Strong, was in hospital with a neck brace. I'm sorry, I should be laughing, but he blamed himself. Julius Massey would win for Diamond Mine. But, I mean, Roderick Strong, let's just talk about the Undisputed Era at the moment. It's not often that you get Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly in a neck brace, Adam Cole, concussion. Yeah. All three can't be are injured, but wouldn't swap for Bobby Fish's promo and reaction he got at Bound for Glory. I don't oh my God. Honestly, it was. You know, I'm an Impact fan, Monty. Fuck me, that was awkward. Like, I think everybody did. Just like, oh.
It's never a lot of. It's not even a lot of people there, so it just. It really is just. Sad. It was so sad because it was nothing. Not even like a little kid, usually it's like a child who may not be even paying that close attention, who just want to scream. Nothing. It was nothing.
I've always said, Undisputed Era, Adam Cole would be WWE, Kyle O'Reilly's AEW, Roderick Strong's Ring of Honor, Bobby Fish's Impact. I don't want to be that guy. It's like, shit, maybe he's MLW. Like, maybe, I just don't know, but Strong, Rod, you think things going bad for you, son? Do not worry about that. I know, bless him. Well, we get Kiana James versus Thea Hale. Mr. Stone interrupted the match to warn Hale against embarrassing him while he got press slammed for his troubles. The distraction allowed Kiana James to immediately get away with a 401k. In the main event, Ilya Dragunov versus Grayson Waller. Waller got distracted, but again, Waller went outside. This is what happens when it's like going in the car park. Monty makes an excellent point. He waited for the wheel to spin. He knew something was wrong with the wheel, but it wasn't spinning yet. And it allowed Ilya to take over and win with a torpedo. Afterwards, Bronze speared Dragunov while a smiling JD watched in the crowd. And you know what? I've never felt sorry for Grayson.
What a camera shot.
I would never feel sorry for Grayson, but knowing Ia would batter him kind of brought, when you just, I sympathised, I think would be the right word, because if someone's going to pull a good match out of you, it's going to be him.
Yeah, man, yeah. And wow. By the way, I just love how at the end, I never thought he would have to change a thing. But again, the intensity of Dragunov at all times, even in the promo segment with him earlier, he's just so intense. He's just very present in every moment. And like I mentioned earlier, every time they do it, like they're gonna have to find another creative way to mess Waller up. Like I said, he's gonna have to just do that cutter from closer to the ring or something. I don't know. Either way it goes, that spot really tripped me out because I was like, come on, man, you cannot let that get you again. But honestly, I must say this is great stuff. I love that camera shot there at the end. They're not the most subtle tease ever, but they are basically doing everything to show you, all right, guys, watch out. JD is gonna be right there. The people you think is gonna, who's gonna win they're gonna take each other out. There goes JD. So I do love that execution of it, and I must say, I have to say this, and maybe this is just me. I have a new fixation. I love watching Braun spear short guys. Man, Dragunov, that spear looked beautiful. I don't know if it was as good as Bates, the one that he did to Bates, but man, it's nice. It was nice to see. I must admit that was kind of, it was cool. But anyway, yeah.
No, I'm kind of like the opposite. Every time I go, for fuck's sake, it's like Braun. Just why does he hate people from UK? Why does he hate UK talent? Like, why does he have to keep beating them and beating us? It's not fair.
But before this, he was fighting Gacy. He needs some competition. Fair, I'm sorry.
Fair. But again, you beat Bate, you beat fucking, you beat Devlin, you're beating. Well, you might beat Ilya. We just don't know.
We'll see.
We shall see. We're on the last NXT now as well, so it's not been too bad. October 18th. Days, the Tuesday Night War, much like the Wednesday Night War as it was, saw NXT go head-to-head with AEW. Would it lead to a better show? Well, you be the judge of that, because we started with Pick Your Poison, Roxanne Perez versus Rhea, Ripley, and Ripley
Yeah.
enjoyed beating down Rox early and often,
Mm-hmm.
but she let her opponent almost stay in the match too long. A timely distraction allowed the Eradicator to connect on a headbutt and a Riptide to win. But it's great seeing not only Rhea Ripley, but the entire Judgment Day. It's like when you see Dom in
Yes.
NXT and you go, that's where you should have been to begin with.
Good point. Hell yeah. Hell yes. But no, it was great to hit the pop and like the look and everything in the NXT arena. It was awesome. They just felt like a big deal. Rhea looked great. And this is the thing. I honestly, until I watched it, I forgot that, she hasn't even been in the ring since the whole, injury or whatever she had going on. So this was a great time. It was a great chance to finally see her after a while. She's been, it seems she's still been so active during this whole period that I guess I kind of forgot that, it's been a while since she's been in the ring. So to see her in the ring with someone like Roxy, getting that great experience, how could you not have sympathy for Roxy in there with someone like Rhea? They crafted a pretty nice match together. Real great. I think everything went as planned too, because they used Dom. They also got a little bit more heat on Dom too. If you want to connect this to what they're doing on the main roster, Dom was the distraction. So here we go here with a big win for Rhea, and it made a lot of sense. Roxanne, in my opinion, did not look bad or doesn't look weak here. She pushed someone that is respected in NXT and NXT UK. So like she pushed someone to a limit to where they needed a distraction to win. So I thought it worked out. This is a really great way to start off the show, in my opinion.
Yeah, the pick your poison match is such an obvious choice to do, especially when you kind of got like this, and to be involved Raw and SmackDown, and to see Cora Jade, interacting with Judgment Day on Raw, and of course Rox being involved in a tag team match on SmackDown as well. Like you said, they have experience. And another thing you said earlier as well is like Booker T managing to, tell you a little bit more about Roxanne because obviously he was the one that started training her as well. I'm not going to lie, I never thought I would lose my shit in a Channing Stacks Lorenzo match, but I did when we found out who his mystery opponent was, and it was Shinzuki fucking Nakamura. And yes, the fucking in his name was used correctly, unlike Von Wagner. Of course, Tony G enjoyed watching Stacks fight hard, and to be fair to Stacks, he even said to him to bring it on, but that should never happen, as he got hit with the Kinshasa.
There you go.
Yeah. To win, it matters not, right? We don't know. Well, we don't know how Tony knows Naka. It doesn't matter though, because the man who was NXT's biggest star is back.
Yeah, and he had his black and gold gear too. So it's like it made me hope that maybe he could just pop up again or come around. Who knows? At this point, it really felt, and honestly, lately, I don't know if you noticed this too. I was gonna wait for my overall NXT point, but it feels more like a brand when you have a lot of this stuff with the OC and like you said, having NXT people pop up on Raw and SmackDown often, and we'll talk about something in a minute later that happened that also just kind of intertwines the show even more. So I do have to give them that props. Seeing people like Shinsuke here, even with his NXT history, it was just a great moment, and it felt good, even if the match wasn't like, even though I think we all knew Stacks probably didn't have a chance. It was still fun to see, and he gave a great effort too in defeat. So this was fun, and I love Tony. Kind of like, yeah, man, you couldn't get the job done. I don't know what connections got him to call like the mafia got what kind of connections? The
Yakuza.
Who do you know?
And, Japan, and we got a phone number.
Who did he call?
Imagine that. I just don't understand.
Shinsuke likes to surf. Like, I'm trying to figure out what kind of negotiation.
I'm trying to think, like, is Tony do Rick Boogs with a shave and we've just not noticed it? Or, like, what's happened? Won't put it past them. But like I said, great to see Nakamura back. And we've got Chucky as well. He interrupted the confident Grayson Waller to announce his match with Apollo Crews would be a spin make the deal. Of course, Waller ran out the building, but no bleeding or attacks in the car park. We're all right. Alba Fire beat Sonya Deville. After the match, Doc Strash attacked Fire before Rose music hit. Fire laid out everyone and took Rose's title. Rose, and by extension W, seem to have taken Fire's production attempt the champion in their stride. Again, interesting here, but I don't want to be a pessimist, but Alba Fire wins strongly on NXT, hold up. Is it... should I be getting my hopes up for Halloween Havoc?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't know. What it depends on what those hopes are. Are you hoping Mandy Rose retains? Because I don't know, man. She may have beaten. She fought off everyone here, but that does not mean 3-on-1 won't or 4-on-1 won't come back to bite her Saturdays, and so we'll see, or tonight. So we'll see.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Is the excitement is upon us. We're coming up to it now, but we see Kamala Hayes and Trick Williams started their fight off in the locker room with Wesley and Nora Mensah, who fought back. The teams made it to the ring. Trick took out Mensah while Mella caught Lee with a diving axe kick to win. It was kind of over before it began, this one. You know, just get my notebook out. Oh, wait a minute, it's finished. But again, didn't really mind. And then we had Cameron Grimes wanted to get his hands on Joe Gacy. He got his wish with Rip Fowler and Jagger Reed involved. Of course, Grimes picked as his partners. Yes, of course, it was the Good Brothers, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. They proved their worth by putting the Schism away after a Magic Killer and a 1-2-3 to Reed. We're going to go more into detail on the Halloween show about the Good Brothers and the Man. But even if this is a couple of weeks ago from when we're doing it, it's mental that the Good Brothers are on NXT now.
Yeah, man. NXT, Raw was just unbelievable. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, Impact, I soured on their run. I really did. Like, after a while, I think, I don't know if you mentioned this too, but you watched more Impact than I even did. And I was still like, well, why? Like, it seems like every time I look up, they're doing the same thing on Impact. So, and then they came back to New Japan and they've done great. So to see them, while continuing to maintain a relationship, as far as I know, with New Japan, to see them here in WWE, in NXT, even if it makes sense with the money. I love Gallows' reaction to the money he put in his face earlier, just how much they love it. They're like a hired guns. I love it. And the way Finn's facial expressions on the Raw when they showed up. Oh, man, it was so well executed. So it's great to see OC back. I don't necessarily know what this means, though. But, it was still awesome, and I definitely wasn't expecting it. So another one of those, pulling something out of a hat from Triple H and Sean here. So it worked out, though, because we got a really good moment here in NXT out of this also. So we'll see how long it goes.
Well, this is the thing as well, and WWE saying, oh, it don't matter if we're going head-to-head with AEW, and then, like you said, sticking fucking as many people as they can. No, Nakamura just showed up,
They were just in Florida, randomly.
Yeah. Brothers,
they're always going to be there.
Shotzi showed up as well. It was announced as a Halloween Havoc host. Doesn't that take you back to better times? Oh, my word.
Wow.
Well, Zion Quinn and C. Elliott wanted to join him as co-host. Of course. Quinn could not deal with the size of Elliott, who took him out with a diva drop to win. And to be fair, I've not got a problem with Elliott, but just, be more in tune with your surroundings. Yeah, if you're going to hit your finisher, don't look like you don't know what you're doing. That's the difference to it. But again, I don't mind it, but it's not going to add anything to the Havoc,
Yeah, I don't know. It made me feel like they just didn't have an idea of how they wanted this Zion or the Zion and Quincy thing to continue or end. So they just kind of went with this because they thought it would just at least tie into Havoc. But so I don't necessarily know what it's going to do as far as hosting the show. I agree. I think Shotzi would have had it handled pretty much by herself fine and didn't necessarily need this. But like you said, I don't mind Quincy at all. I think he does some good things, like the way he bumps for a big guy and the way he moves around at times is impressive. But I agree, he definitely shows signs that he needs, more, experience here, and we'll just have to see how this continues on. But the people there seem to be behind him. I don't know how much is that is prepped or are they really just into it. But I really think that if we just give it time, we'll have to see how it all play out. And I'm interested to see how they use him and Shotzi together here tonight. I want to at least see if they do something creative, or is it just going to be one or two cringeworthy segments that we will hope is not here or whatever.
I cannot believe I was just going to compare the NXT crowd to porn stars. I cannot believe I would. But when sometimes it's like you're not enjoying it as much as you're making out.
Right.
Not again.
So, like, how much of it is for the camera, right? Just for looks. That's what you mean. Yeah.
Like, this is awesome. Really? Is it?
Yeah, right. Really? It's like, come on, man.
Anyway, pick your poison. Raquel versus Cora Jade. Again, see Raquel from SmackDown. This made sense. Cora Jade realised early she could not match Rodriguez, so she goaded Big Mama Cool using a kendo stick against her that caused a disqualification. So good news, bad news. Good news, she got the win. Bad news, she got beaten the shit out of with the kendo stick. It was kind of over before it started, and of course, Rox getting picked up. That's when you know the power of Raquel, when she just picks up Rox and just sticks her on the shoulder without even bothering about it. But again, they're going all out. Would you say, and again, we're going to run through the card, I know. I think the build and
what
the
an
story...
easy check for Raquel, by the way.
I think the story and the build has been bigger and better for Roxanne and Cora than it has the women's title match. And I know Mandy's had issues, like...
Yeah, exactly. It's some things that's out of their control when it comes to Mandy's situation. But 100%, Cora and Cora Jade and what Roxy has going on right now is definitely the best hold story so far in the women's division. And like I said, the video package from a few weeks ago, giving all the, like with mixing Mako in there also. I love the use of Mako here because it feels like she didn't have the heart to use, she didn't have the heart to be vicious in that early other match, but she fights Mako. Mako beats the crap out of her, and now she's like, okay, you know what? I showed toughness. I gained I gained a badass woman's respect. So, that may give her the confidence to be vicious. So again, I love everything that they've been doing so far. Even if, in my opinion, so far, I feel like this story is making Roxy look way better. But honestly, you know how this is. It's a give and take in this business, and if the match turns out great, they both will benefit no matter who comes out the winner. But this is I agree. This is so far has been the best story told easily.
Yeah, and again, we're not going to complain if they're making a face actually look quite cool and clever and like
it's about damn time.
Exactly. The women in the division. The main event segment. It was Kevin Owens calling out JD McDonald, all in the ring for the KO show, basically.
It felt personal.
He did. He went for him. He went for the Irish Ace. And he even was like tapping on their shoulders saying, don't let him take this title. Braun of his faces. KO finally gave him a stop in the fight and let the two get on with it. Dragunov took up both Breaker and McDonald and stood tall after hitting the torpedo, holding the NXT Championship high. All of a sudden, Austin Theory's music hit, and he showed off his briefcase, teasing a future cash-in. Again, this was exciting, but way to fucking bury the lead on this one. If you're going to put Theory back in NXT, let's have a complete rather than, oh, look, he showed up at Havoc.
I really don't. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to do it, you would have just, if you're going to do it tonight, just do it without him showing up there. Let Dragunov finish the show holding it up. And then he shows up tonight. It'll blow everyone's mind because no one was even considering that he would do it. It was a great little shock right there. But that's another reason why it's hard for me to believe that they didn't know if Dynamite was awful. Like, what was the point? Why would you spoil this if this could possibly happen Saturday? It just doesn't make any logical sense other than the fact that you wanted that rating pop right there next to Dynamite. I'm sorry. It looks, that's the way it looks to me.
It's pointless. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love Kevin Owens, right? But like, have Owens wrestle elsewhere, and if you're going to make it into a match, have Balor, who was there, team with JD, who he trained with originally, to take on the faces, and then good main event, and you've got the story there. Just didn't make any sense, you know. Don't get me wrong, I understand it. And another thing, we'll talk about NXT in a month. But one of these interesting things, even when Owens was saying, you've not seen me on Raw recently, and again, I'm not praising Vince McMahon, you know, off the top of my head, but even with his booking of weekly shows, I can't remember certain superstars just going missing. Yes, there was talent that weren't used on the shows, but talent that were always weekly. And it seems like with Kevin Owens, we've not seen him on Raw recent times. I mean, don't get me wrong, with Dynamite, it happens every fucking week. But there's a few, even like with Theory, Baszler, you can go through. I mean, again, I don't know.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, I don't know if it's something Triple H and Tony Khan do that Vince didn't, or we didn't notice it. But it just seems that there's a lot of people missing on weekly television.
I think another thing that's changed is that sometimes Vince, even if they weren't in matches, he would have these drawn out promos or packages, or sometimes it was backstage segments that made little to no sense. You know, and like you said, sometimes they'll at least give him a guy another appearance, you know, to make it consistent. I think sometimes since Triple H is trying to focus more on wrestling in like longer competitive wrestling matches, maybe that, you know, comes into play. Maybe he's giving people, you know, time off in between. I don't know. You know, you never really know exactly the thought process behind it. But that is an interesting point, you know, just how, you know, invisible some people seem to be when they're not the focus of a story at the moment. And, you know, I don't know if that's going to be something that's going to continue on, or there's just some of these new kinks while Triple H, you know, gets the swing of things. But we'll have to see, you know. But that's a really interesting point, because I didn't even think about that. But it really has been inconsistent for some people, you know, and specifically if they don't have a legitimate feud or a title that they're fighting for.
Yeah, it's just one of these things, you know, when, like I said, we talk about how much wrestling we watch, and you just notice like kind of even if it's subtle changes or differences, and you think, fuck yeah, we haven't seen Owens in a few weeks, and it's kind of a bit weird. But anyway, that was NXT. 5 episodes we've caught up with. The new NXT, as it was. What have you thought of this batch of episodes?
Yeah, I think it still has its ups and downs. It still has some high points. Like I said, I do love the fact that it's starting to feel more like what Triple H always said NXT was to him. Even if he wants to try to call it developmental when they bring it up about Tony beating them in the ratings. I know what Triple H's end goal is. He always mentioned back in the day that NXT was a third brand. And I do love the fact that in this new era, it kind of feels like that. It doesn't, you know, when you see a Shinsuke Nakamura or whatever come down, you know, it's just starting to. I don't know if that's just how we're going to continue to do this, but it feels normalized, and that was always a thing every now and then with NXT in the past. But I think it's just different now since we know Triple H is kind of doing, you know, the main roster also now. But I love like the logical storytelling standpoint that we see. Like I said, a lot of things make sense, but they still have, like I said, some of those moments that you probably can do without. Some of the fillers. Sometimes the women's division seems underdeveloped by comparison, but I do think they're building things. Like as far as the women's tag division go, for the first time in a while, it seems like they're trying to put multiple teams together and try to flesh it out. The women's title division may not be as deep right now, but it's because they have active feuds and everything going on. But you can see that they're trying to set building blocks towards the future in that division. I said the same thing about the tag division. And then, like I said, the North American title has been handled pretty nicely for the most part for a while now. So, honestly, we'll just have to see and continue to see where some of these stories pay off. I really want to wait out this Grimes business. Hopefully he can finally get off from under this Gacy thing or join them. Whatever they're going to do, they need to go ahead and do it. But, so you just got to get some of these stories out of the way and see where they want to go now. But, and then like you said, I love the fact that it feels like NXT UK in a lot of ways, too, because I mentioned that a lot of times when we talk about NXT UK on the review, just how logical and how everything made sense, simple storytelling. So there's a lot of positives here, but we just have to see if they're going to stick out and outshine some of the downsides that NXT still, the issues that they still have from time to time.
Yeah, like I said, it's even like the women's division. Sometimes the women's division, I think, it's like the old NXT again. Sometimes I'm just screaming about how fucking shit it is. So it's like you said, it is a developmental, and it's never going to be NXT we know. But like you said, even with NXT UK, come on, it feels like the hour we used to watch there has been tacked on to NXT. So we're not really missing it. I've not felt I've missed NXT UK because just the sheer amount of talent that we've seen on NXT. And I would say it has improved, especially from the dark days 2.0 to it is now. But like we said, we can move on to that next level. It's also with, I think for me, like Bron Breakker as champ and Mandy Rose as champion. They're both dominant, and I think we'll see what the next, not even era, but the kind of next stage of NXT is with our next champions. You know, whether that happens at Havoc or not, I think that'll be interesting to see.
Right, right.
Apart from Pretty Deadly.
I agree.
Leave the titles on Pretty Deadly.
Yes. Yeah. I think at some point we're gonna see a changing of the guard. It's just all about when and how at this point. We just need to figure out when they're going to finally pull the trigger. Will both reigns make it to the next stand and deliver, or will it be done before that?
Yeah, it'll be interesting because Shawn Michaels has also announced that there's going to be a December premium live event for NXT called NXT Deadline. Let's hope they change the name. At the moment, it's December 10th. We'll see what happens there. But tonight, we've got Halloween Havoc, the predictions to come. And yes, all four of us on the team WNR have given our predictions. Of course, this is going to go towards the Prediction League. So at the moment, and of course, Monty, I know you weren't there for Extreme Rules. Thank fuck. It was terrible for us. WWE Pay-Per-View League. At the moment, I'm on 4. Gina is on 5. You and Jaxie on 6. So you'll find out. We've still got Crown Jewel, of course, Survivor Series to come. AEW Prediction League, Monty and Gina on 1 each. Jaxie on 2, I'm on 3. I have to apologise because I did the first time ever 1-on-1 with Gina for AEW, and I thought the next show was going to be Revolution. It was quite nice, Monty. What wasn't nice was I thought the next show would be Revolution, and the amount of emails telling me it was Full Gear, just like this Ridge Holland moment we had earlier. It's not like I forgot. All right? It is an AEW pay-per-view. All right? And I'm sorry, but I've got fucking so much wrestling to keep an eye on. It's not. It's Declaration of Power, New Japan. Do you know how difficult it is to remember that? Let alone what else we have.
I saw like the hashtag for power, and I was like, "Oh, we're talking about NWA." Oh, New Japan. Okay, never mind. See, we all make mistakes, people.
Exactly. You go, what the fuck is New Japan DOP? What's that? what have I put there?
Yeah, what is it?
What's DOP?
What the hell?
Anyway, so Bonus League is what the NXT will be towards. At the moment, Bonus League, Gina Jaxie on 6, Monty on 7, I'm on 11. And as Jaxie said, I've got quite a lead in the bonus. But, as I explained to him, explained to you, Monty, there's still all to play for because obviously we get 2 points for a Prediction League win. And then all the points are put together. And even if someone's 5 points behind, there's about 40 points on the line because of the year-end predictions. So there is still all to play for. But today we're going to go for a bonus point. And of course we're going to Halloween Havoc. So we'll start off with Julius Creed versus Damon Kemp in an ambulance match. This is going to be difficult. Monty, what do you think is going to happen? And how are you calling it?
Yeah, man, this is a tough one, honestly. And because I was like, I like everything Kemp has been saying. It makes sense. I could see this win being a cool launch pad for him, but it just doesn't make sense to me, in my opinion, to put Brutus's career on the line. They keep talking about it as it's like definite, like his career is over, not just leave NXT or anything like that. So honestly, I feel like when you put a guy back up against the wall like that, it's hard for me not to say that Julius is going to find a way to come out on top. I think maybe it was the Roddy Strong promo that really was like, you know what, I guess finally we can get the payoff too, because this can be over. He can get his revenge for that, and they can both go their separate ways, and Julius can continue on with his brother, and they can move on. And I think depending on how Kent looks tonight, he doesn't lose anything, because again, he did make a lot of sense. And I do think it still can be a launch pad into whatever heel work he does in the future. So I'm going to stick with Julius Creed.
You're going to go Julius to start us off. This could be interesting, because why would they put Brutus in trouble if they were never going to go through with it? And maybe this is a chance
That's fair.
Of, like we said, not Diamond Mine, but even, the Creeds going to the main roster as a tag team. Be interesting to see.
That's fair too.
But then again, I still think unfinished business. I'm never going to go for like a no contest or both men being out, but I wouldn't be surprised if we did see something like that. But like you said, in an ambulance match, it usually favours the good guy. So I'm going to go Julius there as well. Jaxie and Gina did join. Jaxie sent her predictions, and again, I don't want to put her on the spot, but like half hour ago, I was just about to, I was going to be like, look, if we don't get him in by now, null and void, but they are in at this moment. They have both gone for Damon Kemp. I know, harsh, but still, I stick with it. We've got Apollo Crews versus Grayson Waller in a spin the wheel, make a deal match. Well, I'll take this one. I'll take a shot for the team.
Yeah. Okay.
If this match is not a bleeding eye on a pole match, we are missing. This is like the coolest matches on there, like Buried Alive and Casket. It's not going to be. It's going to be like either like a steel cage match or a one arm time behind your back. Crews needs the win here. So, like we said, it's going to be pretty simple. Waller is one of those heels, a bit like The Miz, who can lose as many big matches as he wants and be all right.
He can talk his way out of it.
Yeah, with Crews, he's come down to NXT, and I don't think anybody knows what the fuck he's doing. No, it's just.
It was funny. Like my fiance was like, I know that the god Apollo. I thought he was like he is supposed to be like inquisitive or whatever. I'm like, bruh. Don't try to make sense out of this. I don't know why he can see the future.
I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know why. What they're doing.
He should be unstoppable. That's my only argument. If he can see the future, he has to be unstoppable. But I agree with you. Like it's simple. Waller doesn't lose anything here. He runs his mouth enough. And we all know he screwed Apollo out of the first victory anyway. It's funny how a simple storyline like this, like it really starts from just a rake of the eye in a match, man. Like that's simple wrestling. And then you throw in all the superhero stuff and the for some reason everyone's still bleeding out of the eyes. It's just, and it's funny. Another stipulation I was thinking about: are we going to do a Seth Rollins Rey Mysterio?
Yeah,
or something where we have to do the fake pushing out the eye situation on the steps or something. I don't know, but anyway, I'm going with Crews too. Crews definitely needs this because again, you can't have someone having visions and they can't win in these situations. It's just hard for me to believe. And like you said, he needs this desperately because like the character can be easily lost. So I just think if you want to keep this going, you want to build us up to see whatever they want to go with this Apollo character, I think he needs this victory, and he's going to win.
Yeah, I mean, if he loses, just release him, right? Because whatever you're doing with him,
just give up.
It's just not working. We got the Weapons Wiles match, Roxanne Perez versus Cora Jade. Now, this is interesting because obviously with the women's title match going along later, you would think, again, if we're just doing a list, if whoever wins this match, depending on this or a heel and whoever the match could be number one contender, And I think at this moment in time, I mean, not to take it too much away from you, but I think Roxanne is riding a little bit of a wave, and I wouldn't mind if she is the one to get rid of Mandy Rose and beat her for the championship. I think that could make storyline sense, but I'm not sure about you. I mean, which way are you going for? We'll do Perez versus Jade first.
Okay, got you. This one, in my opinion, because they did the finish that I just do not like when it comes to babyfaces. I hate when babyfaces can't pull the trigger, can't snap, and show that mean streak. Like, this is wrestling. Like, it makes me every time a babyface can't hit someone with a weapon in a situation, even with the rules and all that, it just makes me be like, has this guy ever watched wrestling before? Has this person ever watched before? Like, all right, you're gonna have to do this sometimes, okay? So anyway, I just feel like for me to take her seriously and for her to take the next step also, because we all like I said, she can get sympathy like anyone. Like, she's really, really good in the role of being the underdog and fighting from behind and getting the upper hand with high impact offense and all that. And I really love that. And I can't wait to see what does she do to show us that mean streak that I think we need to see out of her for her to finally get her revenge back on Cora Jade. I don't think the generation of Jade is starting right now. I think it's time I think they need to keep riding with Roxanne. And it'd be a great way to just go ahead and blow this feud off and let Roxanne take the victory. I'm going with, like you said, Roxy just makes the most sense here.
Yeah, I would say Roxy for me makes sense. Gina also agrees. Jaxie has gone for Cora Jade. And that leads to the women's title match, because I think if Roxy wins this one, she will face the champion at the Premium Live event. And after what happened on NXT, don't get me wrong, Monty, Alba 5, if she wins the title, I will lose my shit, because the former Kaylee Ray
Me too.
is one of the greatest women's NXT UK champions of all time, and obviously a great athlete. But I just think with the build for this, it doesn't feel like the moment is coming. I think, like I said, with the numbers game as well. So I'm going to go Mandy Rose, and it hurts. It hurts to retain, but the end game is Rox versus Rose for me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Roxy versus Rose is probably where we finally get that changing of the guard. And you just pretty much put. I would love for Kaylee Ray to get this Alba Fire to be in this position. As a matter of fact, a few weeks ago after watching, I actually was like, okay, I wouldn't mind it. It makes sense. But like you said, as the weeks went by, the way everything was booked, the numbers game is just I would really doubt if it doesn't come into play. And I don't think the bat will be enough to suffice. And so, yeah, I'm definitely sticking with Mandy Rose retaining here. But I agree 100%. Because I've been, craving for a new champion for a while now. But they're going to continue this out. Who knows? She may, continue to just hold this belt even longer, until they're ready to pull the trigger. But I'm just like you. I'm hoping whoever wins in the Core and Roxy situation gets a title shot. And I'm with you. I think Mandy and Roxy is where we're going to end up. So, yeah, she has to retain for that to happen.
Yeah, without that. Well, a ladder match for the vacant NXT North American Championship. And this has become, commonplace now. I know I've had to go at AEW before for ladder matches and casino battle royales, but it feels like if we don't have an NXT North American ladder match every couple of months, NXT's not doing it right. Don't get me wrong, I love it. Carmella Hayes, Aura Mensa, Wesley, Von Wagner, and Nathan Fraser. Like we said, if we'd got Von Wagner at this match and put an Axiom, it would have been NXT UK versus the North American champion. What are your thoughts? This match potentially could steal the show, potentially could just be them waiting for their spots and setting up ladders. This is always my problem when it comes here. What about you, Monty? What do you think what's going to happen and who's going to win?
Yeah, I think we should get on a fun match because we have great athletes, people who are very creative, even without the ladder. So we have people who know what they're doing, and I think can have some, like you said, impressive moments and spots. But it's always a toss-up on whether they're going to get the time or whether they're going to get what they want out of this. And will it turn into just a spot fest, or will it actually make sense? Will it be one of those things that just looks like a chase to get to the belt and who's going to get there first? Honestly, my initial thought process was just as long as it's not Von Wagner. Really, that's where I was at. And then they started to fleshing out the contenders, and I was just trying to really just think about it. I was like, man, I love Melo, but honestly, I would be frustrated if Melo won this one because I've mentioned this plenty of times. I honestly don't want Braun Breaker to lose the belt until he fights Carmelo Hayes, okay? Or at least them have one world title match, please. But anyway, so I really don't want Melo to win, even though I wouldn't be surprised or be mad at it. But I would. Like I said, I would be actually frustrated because I just think, what was the point of the solo spot? Was it just to pop us and be a surprise? Like, what was the point of all of that? He's going to be a champion. So it made me move on, and I thought, like I said, no Von Wagner. So then it was like Nathan, Oro, or Wesley. Well, at least Wesley won the votes. And, okay, so he had whatever. I don't know. I didn't vote for it, so we'll see. But the fans, they said the fans voted.
Someone did. Yeah, we
someone
didn't.
voted, right. Yeah, we didn't vote, but someone voted for Wesley. And he's been, I think someone mentioned it. He's been walking around moping for months now. Forgot who it was. I think was it Stacks? Yeah, I think Stacks was like, bro, you've been moping for months. Your friend is gone. Get over it.
Just get over it.
But anyway, so yeah, just get over it. So I'm like, he's been treated like a pushover. It would be a great story for him to overcome everything and win it. But I was like, I don't know. It's just like when you do that, the fake out thing, and they do what they did with Melo and Trick. It's like it made me feel like they're not confident in Wesley in that spot themselves. So I was like, it makes the most sense then to give it to maybe Frazier. That's where I'm having the conundrum. Like Frazier or Wesley? Frazier or Wesley? Because Oro's a little too new. I'm like, he's too new. Like they wouldn't give it to him right off the bat. As you see, I'm still struggling with this.
Well, I'll give it a second because Jaxie is just. I think she's doing it to fuck me. She put Von Wagner as the winner.
Oh my god, no, please. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna break down. I'm just gonna be mad. I'm just gonna be so frustrated.
Not only will Von Wagner be the North American champion, but Jaxie will beat us at NXT. Which again, it can't happen.
Oh my god, anybody Von Wagner. Okay.
Go on.
All right, so I'm going to step on the limb. It's like, all right, so who? Okay, Nathan. I'm going Frazier. I said it.
You're going Frazier. You're going Frazier.
Yeah. And what happened was, I believe him winning the series gave him more momentum going into the match than what happened with Wesley, because he just got pinned like you just saw on to go home. Like it was nothing, and maybe they did that to get me off Wesley's scent. We'll see, but I'm gonna stick with self project.
I had the gutter rule. I know what it's like, that choice of just like we have to do it. I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going Wesley. Like I said, if it's not built towards him winning,
you with me, man? That's hard, bro. I'm so mad, dog.
Wesley, and Gina has gone Wesley as well. So I tell you that Gina is going to be her predictions and mine are very similar.
Gina,
she is
doing good.
Yeah, I mean, say that if Von Wagner wins, we're all fucked. So
and watch Frazier. He's gonna do something sick, take himself out of the match, and I'm screwed. I'm gonna just throw my device.
It'll be the injury angle early on. Then you go, for fuck, no, I'm out.
Oh fuck.
The main event though is, and again we talk about fuck. Like Bron has fucked me this year with predictions. My head is in the place. I don't know. The NXT Championship on the line. Bron Breakker versus Ilya Dragunov versus JD McDonough. Now this is fucking my head up because I'm thinking, why is JD involved for when he's kind of got beaten in the past? Unless they put him there to be like that. Why is Ilya involved? Especially if he's going, I don't want to lose at Worlds Collide. No, but you're right, losing at Havoc doesn't
right.
make sense.
True.
and Braun. Can we bet against Braun? But I want to, but I don't know if I can. What are you saying, Monty? Because I honestly, at this moment, it's the one where your head and your heart. And this year, my heart has been crushed by the head. If you look at Bay, McIntyre, you look at anybody, it has. I want to say but my head's going. It's going to be Braun. Monty, talk some sense into all of us. Which way is this going? I don't know.
The video package, the intensity in which he speaks. Dragunov in that Kevin Owens segment almost swayed me, I promise you. He had me a couple times. And, when he told JD actually had me because I was like, they are so focused on each other. They are literally trying to hammer this in your head, guys. Watch out for JD. They're literally trying to do this.
I know.
So it's like,
why is he
here? So I even gave him a chance.
There's no need for JD in this match. It's like, why? Why? I hate it.
Right. He throws it all off because now I'm like, what? Like if you're gonna do this for Ilya, I would like it. Like you just said, it'd be much better if it's Ilya versus Braun straight up. He takes it and or whatever. Then it makes more. It makes more sense to me. But when you have JD there, it's like they're probably gonna do what they did with Mandy Rose and Mako and Blair. It makes me and like it's gonna be a situation where Ilya may have just hit the torpedo or something, and then Braun. Gets him out the way or whatever, or some type of interaction like that at the last minute there, and we continue it on. It's just I'm going with Braun, like you said. It's just too hard. I gotta be safe here and just go and say that he's gonna retain. But man, I wanted to give it to Dragunov. Like I said, I even considered JD. They were just so overtly against him. Yeah. Also, it's like why are they why are they hammering home? Yeah, so it's like he may just sneak up and win because no one wants him to win. So it just feels like, why would they do that? But I was like, you know what? Since I have no clue, I'm just going to stay safe. And let's just hope Braun can bring it home because with the triple threat setting and all of that, like you mentioned earlier. And then they tried to throw the Theory stuff out there, but I honestly think since they did it, it's like no way we're getting Theory tonight, in my opinion. Or if he do come out, I just don't see it working. If so, I'll be like, wow, why did you spoil it? It would have been it would have been great if you just
They should have Tyson Fury there knocking out Theory every time. To catch in. Just randomly pop up, just knock him out. Just never do it. I don't know, Monty. Like I said, it makes all the sense. It makes all the sense in the world. Like you said, Gina's gone Braun, makes sense. Jaxie's gone Ilya Dragunov, it makes sense. The outside will be JD. Like we said, with a bonus, I've got a little bit of a lead, but is it worth sacrificing or not? But seeing as you went Frazier over Lee.
Bro, I didn't want to.
No. I'm going to do this for NXT UK, for the WNR podcast, and for everybody. Trust me, I will lose this point. I will lose on this point. Like, I just fucking know I will. But go on, your new NXT champion. I'll pick Ilya Dragunov. Fuck it. Go on. I've done it now. I've done it. I don't want to hear it. But again, Monty, it is quite exciting. It's a Saturday night. There's a takeover event, a premium live event coming up in just a couple hours. And the card itself looks pretty cool. I mentioned earlier, should it be a TV show or not? I'm glad it's premium live event, and I'm glad it should get some time because usually, touchwood, takeovers always used to deliver. Excuse me. As for the Halloween Havoc tonight, I mean, what are your hopes? What are your dreams? What are you hoping to see? Obviously, you to get a perfect score. But like, what would be
right? Obviously,
what would be your dream scenario?
Nathan Frazier finding a way to win randomly. Yeah, just that one. That's the one I'm the most curious about right now. But anyway, honestly, I think we're gonna get one of those nicely paced, complete shows. I just hope everything makes sense and that they just let everybody, like you said, the ladder match gets enough time so it won't just turn into a spot fest. I hope the story of the triple threat match works out. Like maybe that they continue to tease that JD gets there, but at the end he doesn't. Even though he snuck around the entire match or something like that. So like, it's little things like that I'll be looking for, but I'm still, like you said, expecting a takeover level or a takeover quality show where it's just, fast paced but entertaining the entire time. And we get to see some of these feuds pay off, and we'll see maybe, like you said, maybe we'll get a new champion, new NXT or new NXT Women's Champion here. So yeah, man, it's a lot of stuff, and we got an ambulance match, got some stuff. We don't even know one stipulation, so it could be really creative, or it could all be a bunch of garbage. So we'll have to see.
It's the hope that gets you. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
It always is. It's the potential to have a perfect night, and then when I wake up in the morning and check my phone and realise not only do I lose predictions, but Bron Breakker's retained the NXT title. But then again, like I said, this is fun. It is fun. It's nice that NXT now has got that fun feel about it. And like I said, we've just done an update. And unlike maybe updates of old, this has kind of flown by. And we've basically covered everything as well. Is there anything else NXT related? Because don't worry, everybody listening, we will be bringing you a review of Halloween Havoc along with New Japan Declaration of Power on a Halloween special, which is next week. But Monty, anything else NXT related this week?
No, this is like you said, another strong batch. I think, like we said, they're improving, and we're just gonna have to wait it out and see what else Shawn Michaels and everyone else in creative and back there in NXT, what they're gonna continue to cook up for us. And I think tonight is gonna be a fun show. They've been doing a really good job with the last few takeovers. Even in the 2.0 era, they were doing pretty good with their actual network specials. So I'm expecting more of the same here tonight, and it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Well, on that note, we'll leave it there. That is it. Don't forget, across all social media, Twitter at the WNR Podcast. I'm at the WNR. You can find the entire WNR team on our Twitter banner. Or where can people find you, Monty?
You can find me at Monty Pod. You can click the link in my bio. You can check some of the old pods. We are right now currently, this season is over. We'll figure it out. I will get back to you guys on when the next season will pop up of the Mind of Monty podcast. But until then, I do plan on uploading more to my YouTube. So please go to Mind of Monty on YouTube. It's all typed together, Monty, Mind of Monty. So check that out and subscribe. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, see, everybody listen, Monty didn't leave. Everybody was, the amount of emails I got saying, did you do a Dan again? And it's like, no.
Did you run someone else away?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I even mentioned, I've only been through Dan, Dwayne, Jared, Henry, Jaxie, Gina, yourself. It's not a lot of people, Select Match Pod and the other guy did Graps of Ras, and it's not a lot. Yeah, 15 people? Is it really?
It's not a lot, as you explain the revolving door of guests and hosts.
It's nice that people come back. That's what I'm saying, and I hope people enjoy listening. WNR also on Facebook and Instagram across all Google platforms. Send us your pissy emails at the WNR Podcast at gmail.com. YouTube, love podcast for all latest clips and podcasts at the same time on YouTube. Do SoundCloud on your phone, also Spotify and iTunes. Where you can download, subscribe, rate, and review there. So that is it. Like I said, our next episode is the 8th annual Halloween Spooktacular. 8th annual. I couldn't be that old, could I? With the entire WNR team. Until then, I've been James Rowlands, and I was joined by the mind of Monty. Monty, you're back. We've done an update, and it's a Halloween special next. Times are good.
Yes, it is. Times are good. October, usually, especially the end of October, is always a cool time for me because my birthday month is coming up. I'm a fall baby, so this is my time of the year. So I can't wait, man. Ready to do this. And yes, like you said, back in the saddle. Let's do it.
When is your birthday, Monty? Just in case anybody wants to send you cards.
22nd.
22nd. of
November 22nd.
November. Well, I just want to let you know. I mean, I'm not saying anything, but my birthday is when we drop the Halloween special. So I'm just saying it's not important.
Whoa.
28th October.
Okay.
But it's not. Look, guys, don't send me anything. It's not worth it. It really isn't. So we all got birthdays, all within a couple of months of each other as well, and
Nice.
the same times that you because Gina debuted on the podcast in November. So obviously you and Jaxie were a week apart, and Gina came a little bit later. It's nice little bow. You're not interested, people listening at home. You want us to go now, so we will. So thanks for listening, everybody, and bye.
Adios.